to show you how to draft a gathered sleeve cap sleeve. So basically we're going to add a bit of volume here and lift the sleeve cap to form a lovely gathered sleeve when sewed up. I traced my basic short sleeve on this paper again and also transferred all my notches. The first thing we're going to do is establish how big an area of the cap we want gathered. Now some people find it just the easiest to gather between the front and back notches, but I like it when my front and my back amount that gets gathered is it's equal amounts on the front and the back. So I like to use my back notch as a guide, and I just draw a straight line across to my front. Actually, I'm just going to go for the Sharpie again, and just remember, like in our previous lessons, I'm using a Sharpie to show up better on camera, but you should use a pencil like I did here. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now is divide the sleeve cap into 5 sections. Okay, so to establish our first section, I'm just going to draw a line down from there, and then just measure roughly 1 inch on each side. Doesn't have to be 100% correct, and I'm just drawing a line from there to this point. And this is my first section. Then I am basically just going to halve the remaining part. You can just eyeball that. It doesn't have to be 100% the half. Everything is coming to this point over here. So what you want to do now is number your pieces, because we are going to cut this out and then they can get lost, or you can get confused about the order again rather. So it's number 1, number 2, number 3, 4 and 5. So my pattern is cut out and I'm putting it over a clean piece of paper now. Just always make sure that your paper has enough space below and above for any adjustments. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to secure it to this paper beneath. The first thing, I'm just going to keep this because I need to cut this. The first thing I'm going to do is just draw a line so that it's basically a guideline I'm drawing, and I'm going to mark 2 inches up on this line. That's going to be my new shoulder notch placement. So I'm going to cut this now, and I'm cutting apart my pieces. See why it's important to number them. Okay, I'm going to start with my middle piece, number 3. Now I'm moving this up 2 inches, and that's why I also needed the guideline. So I'm placing that exactly in line with my guideline. And I'm sticking this down. It's always, you should always start with this middle one. It'll better job of putting it down. And then I would recommend that you start with the sides. I'm also tapping this one down because I like the position of that now. I like the look of it. This is a bit messy now, but we'll trace around that in just a bit. So you basically want 1 and 5 to point to each other. Don't worry about these points lying in exactly the same position. I'm referring to number 2 and 4 now. The important part is really this outline of the sleeve cap. Okay, I like the look of that. I think my curve looks good. Now I just want to make a few adjustments to the length before I trace it out. I want to add a bit of length to this, about 2 3/4. I've seen that that's a nice length. It's just above the elbow. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw a line that follows the same angle as this underarm seam line here. So just do that. Same on this side. Okay, now just don't worry about the length. You just want a guideline for the curve. Oh, sorry, a guideline for the angle of the under seam. Okay, so we said 2 3/4. That's over there. And if you just mark it on this side. And before I'm hooking this up, I also want to add a bit of width to this hem so that it's just a bit looser and more flowy around the arm. I think that looks really nice. And I'm going to add 1.5 inches to each side. I'm hooking it up. That is my new underarm seam. And now what you just want to do is just measure it, because remember these two need to be sewn together, so you just want to make sure that the length is still the same after your adjustment. This is just over 6 3/4. Yeah, that's right. Hook this up. So I'm just gonna make a little squiggle through this line just to show that it's not relevant anymore. We're not going to use that. And then you just want to trace around our notches there again. And this is still my front notch. So what I really love to do when I've done a messy sort of adjustment like this one, where the tape gets stuck to the paper and things like that, is just to trace it on a new piece of paper again, so that I've got a nice, clear and neat copy of my pattern. So here is the gathered cap sleeve pattern. It really is a very nice feminine pattern. I really like this one, so you should really give it a try. So that's it for the sleeve adjustments. I really hope that you've got a favorite in mind and that you'll be applying that to your shift dress. Keep an eye on your inbox or on the Facebook group for when the next lessons will drop. That will be on how to adjust the silhouette of the dress. See you there.